What's going on, world? So I found another video here by this guy called Mighty Keith, who says Ubisoft delays Assassin's Creed Shadows and his take on it. He mentions nothing like worth mentioning, so it's time for me to do a react so he can see what the hell the issues are. And yeah, let me know what y'all think about this. I mean, it's like you're just saying nothing, and you didn't focus on any problems whatsoever with the game. Y'all know how long I've been doing this. I'm good with the reacts. I'm good at challenging people. And then when people just waste a bunch of air, it's like, yeah, you could have made this way more professional and better for people that are following you. I mean, you have 7K and 500 and something likes. It's like, yeah, why does this even get popular? But let's go ahead and get into this. And y'all enjoy, like, subscribe.
I am Mighty Key. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. First and
I do.
foremost, I'm sure y'all can hear. I think I'm getting a lot better though. I'm still a little bit under the weather, right? Which is what has halted some of the skits. Unfortunately, I had to
Okay,
go
that's
back
good
and do
that you
some
have better.
audio. But I will have my PS5 Pro skit. Look at me. I'm an old man with dementia. I will have my State of Play skit coming out pretty much within the next few days. Hopefully
Okay.
tomorrow. But anyways, this video is kind of just my thoughts about the whole Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you've followed me on Twitter, you've seen most of my, I guess, ideas or I guess how my thought process works surrounding the controversy of this game and just this topic in general when it comes to like wokeness and or anti-wokeness in gaming. But I wanted to give a little bit of
There's right and there's wrong. Japan was done wrong. Suke is a Black Lives Matter craft. He replaced a Japanese protagonist. He doesn't belong in this game. Thomas Stockley fabricated him. They stole a lot of stuff that's not theirs. It's not a fact of anti-woke, it's a fact of right and wrong more than anything. And how much wrong there is. It's been pointed out multiple times. You better look at my archive on my channel so that you could see how much wrong has been done. It's just insane the amount of wrong that's done with this game. So it's a lot more than that.
of my opinion on this in a video format. Assassin's Creed Shadows, dear players, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a dream project for us, finally bringing the series to feudal Japan with many features developed with our community in mind, such as parkour or the renewed stealth, brought by new technology, all set in a beautiful, immersive world. Um, I mean, parkour and stealth. Well, it says renewed stealth, but yeah, I saw some of the gameplay of the stealth aspects of it, and it did look fun. That part did look very good. We didn't see too much of like the samurai aspects. It looked very Ghost of Tsushima of what we.
No, it's not like Ghost of Tsushima. And no, it does not look that good. It's choppy, it's unfinished. There's a lot of problems with this game, even outside of other issues that Japan and other Assassin's Creed fans have. So I wouldn't just say that. You left out a lot of details, or you just don't see it.
We did see though. Um, you know, whether you think that's a copycat or you think it's just following a formula that works, it's up to you. That's your interpretation. This is an ambitious addition to the franchise, a rich experience that can be lived through the eyes of two unique protagonists. While we
No.
realize we need more time to polish, refine the experience, pushing further some of our key features. As such, we've made the decision to postpone the release date to February 14th, Valentine's Day. This game will release on a broad range of platforms, including Steam at launch. Now that's a W. Uh,
No, they still have a lot of problems to do. They're only putting it on Steam because the pre-orders were trash. They've been trying to avoid Steam to push their subscription and their platform. So no, it's not a W for gamers. It's just more of Ubisoft trying to make their crappy DEI game look better. And they delayed it because Star Wars failed and because they're trying to fix a lot of issues. One, Yasuke's story. Some people were thinking he's going to get removed, but that's kind of been clarified that that's not necessarily happening. But they may be changing around his importance and his plot, and maybe moving him back and making Noe be more of a main focus, period, and having him maybe be less of a focus. We still have a lot to learn about that, but that seems to kind of be the case. Um, but it's not necessarily a W because they haven't necessarily did what we wanted them to do yet. So we still have to find out a lot more about that.
I've always said this, man. I know it sucks, but I know Steam takes a lot of money out of games, but like that is where people go on PC to play games. It just is, right? If something's like an Epic launch exclusive, I always think it's just not going to perform anywhere near what it could have if it just released on Steam. Look at Alan Wake 2.
Of
Look at
course.
Borderlands 3 initially. These are games that like should have be banging, right? And I genuinely think the one key ingredient is that they weren't on Steam at launch. But hey,
That's not a key ingredient. This game was screwed whether it launches on Steam or not. You know how many games fell on Steam that are DEI? I mean, do we want to go over to DEI detected here as you're watching? Because this will tell you about a lot of games that people just do not want to deal with that are DEI detected. And they just do not support them on Steam. The PC community is way more aware than the console community. So yeah, they may help a little bit, but if they're not doing the right thing, the Steam users will still dump on them and ignore them. So it's not a key ingredient. The key ingredient is making a correct, historical, accurate J- Japanese ninja game, working with Japan, doing the right things, giving us a true, authentic Japanese setting that we wanted, and not having this DEI woke garbage in it.
anyways, additionally, pre-orders will be refunded and all future pre-orders will be granted the first expansion for free. Now on Twitter, they went a little bit more into detail about this, but they don't say it here. That is also a W. First of all, the whole thing's a L. If your stuff is delayed, that sucks. But we can definitely pick apart a few W's in this, right?
Why would they not delay it? They need to delay it even further. The game is just not in a release state or a releasable state. I just don't understand how that would be bad that they delayed this game. It needs to be delayed further, as I said. There's so many problems with it. So if anybody was excited from this, then they're just brainwashed and they're uneducated and they don't know what's going on.
Overall, it just sucks that it gets delayed.
No,
Obviously that means something is wrong, something is going bad. But for a while, we have kind of try to like yell at Ubisoft and other gaming companies to just produce quality content, better content, right? Better products, right? Get rid of this microtransaction stuff. This like you pay extra and you get to play 3 to 4 days early stuff. The microtransaction, the season pass. We've all hated that, right? And Ubisoft has been a big advocate of that type of practice, right? On Twitter, it says that they are going away from that model. It doesn't say that here, but on Twitter, in their Twitter posts, I'll show it in a second, it says they're actually going away from that model, which is a W for me because it sounds like they're listening. And I'm hoping more
how are they listening? Have you not seen what they've been doing outside of that? You're focusing on nonsense. This is just so that they can sell more copies because they can't produce that model. If they can get away with it, they would. That's not the problem with this game. How are they listening? No, they're not listening. Look at what they did with the last Hiroshima model. Look at what they did with the Sekihara flag. Look at what they've been doing with the game all along. Where's Thomas Lockley at? Where's Ubisoft to do a real apology and work with Japan? How are they listening? They're not listening whatsoever. Did you see the last inside leaked information? It says they don't pay attention to that type of stuff. They're not listening whatsoever. You're saying a bunch of nothing. You still have not educated anybody on anything meaningful.
companies do this. And it's not just them, unfortunately. There's a lot of companies that do this whole 3 day early. I mean, Hogwarts Legacy was the same way. If they are, I don't know if that's just for this title. I don't know if that's for all titles moving forward. It could be seen as desperation. I will be honest. It could be
It
seen
is.
as like, oh, they really need to get these sales, man. There's so much controversy. There's so much conversations about this game that actually have nothing to do with the actual game that I could understand delaying the game like 3 more months, right? Because it's like, bro, instead of talking about like how is the characters in the game, right? Are they compelling, right? Can I get more mechanics? Can I see more of how the combat's going to be between both the characters in an actual like mission, right? What are the different ways I can approach the missions, right? How long is the game? You know what I mean? Like so many other aspects that of the game that should be conversations, but the conversation is usually there's a black guy in my game, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah,
You idiot. What an idiot. That's a stupid point of view. No, he's a DEI version of a person that's distorted. He's made off of Black Lives Matter, off of George Floyd. He's wrong in every aspect, does not belong in the game whatsoever. He's made gay. He's made sleeping with Nobunaga. So much is disrespected. He's gotten hip hop music, which is why they said they're removing that. He's gotten a stolen item. He's got people in Japan bowing to him. Everything is wrong. It's not just because it's a black guy in a video game. Idiot.
I think delaying it is actually very, very important right now because now we're hearing that there's like some type of housing in the game where you can create houses like sim-like houses, and that wasn't even explained. And the game's supposed to come out in about a month and a half. But anyways, we understand the decision will come disappointing news, especially to those who've been waiting patiently for an Assassin's Creed game inspired by feudal Japan. But we sincerely believe that this is in the best interest of the game and ultimately your experience as a player. Rest assured, we are looking forward to the moment you will embark on a memorable adventure with Naoe and Yasuke. Until then, we thank you for ongoing support. All right, so there's that. Recently, I think they did just put out a tweet saying that
And of course, you would like
they
that.
are, you know, if you got a collector's edition and stuff like that, you'll get an update with that and everything soon. Oh boy, Elon, you got to do something with Twitter, man. This thing is not loading properly at all. But let's talk about that because, like, obviously there's a black man as a samurai in this game, and that was kind of one of the things that you were either okay with or you thought was seen as pandering. Pandering absolutely does exist in almost every aspect of capitalism, right? Whether it's like towards the games or towards movies or towards anything at all. People are going to try to pander to someone if they see a dollar sign come in, or for investors or whatever, as I said.
Okay.
The issue is a group of people will try to weaponize that idea. That is true. It's a true idea, right? They'll weaponize that and make it seem like it's casted much wider than it actually is. Every time you see a black person in a video game, it's not pandering. Every time you see a woman or homosexuality or just anyone
That's not the point of this. There's been plenty all the way back in the 90s. You can type in 1990s black characters in video games. Nobody said anything. It wasn't DEI. It wasn't woke. It wasn't an insult to another culture. It wasn't making somebody gay that wasn't gay. It wasn't making a fabricated version of them that's unrealistic and writing lies about them, changing and editing other people's actual history to fit a narrative. So that's not really why this is a problem. We wanted a
not
Japanese game.
like a straight white man. It's not always pandering. So there's two ways you can have this conversation that I'll see play out. One, immediately calling it woke. And when that happens, it's usually you're just ignorant, right? Then two,
So calling something what it is ignorant. What did you lick Ubisoft's behind before you made this video? Because you haven't said anything against them whatsoever. And you're saying because somebody calls something woke, which is exactly what this is, it's ignorant. So that means that's your only way of seeing that. But it doesn't surprise me because you haven't said anything intelligent whatsoever at all. You've just been doing nothing but blowing wind out of your mouth and saying stupid shit.
people that are skeptical, right? Which is fine. And then waiting for more information, maybe even waiting until the game is released, to actually cast their eye.
Oh, by the way, let's go to his channel.
I
Let's see the last time he did an Assassin's Creed video. 4 months ago. Isn't that interesting, huh? Let's go to my channel. I've covered this thing cover to cover on every aspect you can possibly goddamn cover. Look at this. I've covered so many subjects. I got almost every goddamn piece of information you could possibly have. All the way back. Look at this. I've done everything starting here. Why would I want to listen to anything you have to tell me? Nice try, Tool.
idea of if this is or is not woke, right? And the
It
way
is.
those
You're an
people go
idiot.
about it is you look for information, right? You'll hear YouTubers or other
Talk about ignorance, right? Remember what he said. If you call it woke, you're ignorant.
their content creators talk about like what's happening behind the scenes, and a lot of times a lot of that stuff is just misinformation, right? Then there are times there may be like a little bit of it is true, but then the creator or the person will expand it to make it look like it's much more than it is, right? So it's like if you hear that if you hear sharks bite 57 people a year, right? Instead of hearing that from the creator, you'll hear, oh, you know, sharks kill people, right? Sharks kill people, guys. Stay away from sharks. It's just like, yeah, you probably shouldn't be swimming next to a shark, right? But you understand how it's like,
Either you know or you don't. Why are you dancing around it?
okay, in reality, that is kind of like an irrational fear for the most part if you go to the beach, because sharks only bite 57 people on average per year, right? So the chances are you're not going to get bit.
This
But
is
that's
all
just like a
pointless.
little example of what I mean by some people will take a stat or possibly some truthful information and expand it to make it something worse than it is, and that's a lot of times what happens with this woke nonsense. And that's like my biggest pet peeve with this topic, is that it's just a lot of it's just disingenuous, right? And what it does is it removes the
What's disingenuous is you. You are kissing Ubisoft's ass and you're full of shit. Shut up. I had enough of you, but I'm gonna finish this. This guy's an idiot.
real conversation, right? And it removes like actually finding the real bad
Like,
people.
imagine if this first came out, I can understand, but after so much information has been leaked and shared after all of these months, and you're still pulling this card, yeah, your IQ is probably about 70 to 75.
Because again, like I said, there
Tired
are
of
definitely
idiots like
companies that will
this,
pander to it, and it's good to call out pandering. It's
which
not
is
going
what
to
you're
say
doing for
everything is pandering.
Ubisoft.
I wanted to highlight this tweet. Now, this person,
Oh,
uh,
God.
there are times that people will try to like, oh, let me get a gotcha, you know what I mean, to see it, and a lot of times it doesn't really work. And that doesn't mean this person was doing that, by the way.
DEI, by the way, sellout right here. This guy right here, Dale Walker. Yeah, man, keep on exposing yourself. You're putting it right in front of us. You're putting it right in front of the wrong people because we're exposing you.
I looked at this person's tweets after they had made this comment, and they weren't trying to gotcha. They were actually just trying to figure out who is part of the extremist parts of the left or the right or whatever you think is woke, what is anti-woke. And that's very fair, by the way. That's very fair. Because both sides have extremists that, you know, should not dictate the political landscape of what's going on, whether it's in real life, it's
Either you
gaming,
know or
whatever.
you don't.
So this is a completely fair question, right? But he basically says, hey, Keith, right, if a Latino or Asian character was made as playable in an African setting, game setting with context, would you be upset, adopted, left behind, kidnapped? And I told him no. I actually like stuff like that. It
So you see what he's trying to do? He's trying to box it to make it seem like, oh, it's just a Latino guy. You know, it's not DEI. It's not woke. It's not disrespecting Japan. All the 100 things wrong. Let's try to set an example and make it seem like that this is an equal example compared to this situation right here that we've exposed. You see, these people are not smart. Like, they only brainwash each other. This is not going to work on us. Nice try, though.
kind of allows you to see different
You're not
perspectives
smart enough to manipulate
of
me.
like the story, seeing through the adopted person's lens and the native person's lens, right? And you know, this Del Walker actually, you know, put out. I never actually knew that was the name of the genre, which is a fish out of water story, which is like I said, right? It gives room for interesting dialogue and backstory. I actually like stories where there's a protagonist that is not native to the land and it takes place in. As long as the native protagonist that has a contrasting perspective to the foreigner, it sounds good, right? Because like that's where the story becomes good. Is if you have multiple perspectives. If it's just like the foreigner.
By the way, when you get to this more, yeah, I wonder why that happened. 300% drop at the lowest stock ever. Ever. The whole world knows it, right? But here you go again, trying to justify wrong and trying to make people feel guilty and then trying to call them ignorant. You're not smart. You're just making yourself look stupid.
Foreigner trying to figure out this land. That's cool,
You
but
see what
it's
he's
always
trying to
better
do,
to
right?
have someone who is native. And you know, a lot of people brought down some examples. Like, of course, Upasan said Resident Evil 5, which is true. You had a white man, Chris, and Shiva, who
There we go with that story again. See, once again,
was a native African,
same
and then
thing
of
over and
course
over
PS3
again.
360. I'm sorry, PS360 HD2 said, you know, of course, the Black Panther comics, and there's a lot of there's already a lot of examples for this type of story. So when Assassin's Creed Shadows did the exact same thing, in my head I was like, cool, you know, you got Yasuke, who is this adopted person. You get to see the perspective of an African who was actually I'm sorry, not probably, who was enslaved by these Japanese men, who then I became.
What did he just say? Wow. So not by the Portuguese of Rome, not by the Jesuits, but he's enslaved by Japanese men. Oh boy. Dumber by the hour, y'all.
Became samurai, or he became a what's it called? What's the other thing they're called? I don't know. The other one where it's not a samurai, but it also is. I don't know that the I forgot what it's called. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But also you have
Boy, I swear, just stop. God damn, man, I want this to be over with.
Naoe, right? Who is the native Japanese person, can tell her side of the story, right? And when that happens,
She's more Chinese than Japanese. She's playing a Zhang Ziyu. And here, hold on. Let me help you out more. You ignorant idiot. You're the one that's ignorant. Let me help you out more. This is the instrument that she's playing. Look at all this ignorance. But it doesn't surprise me, though, by the way. I'm not surprised. This is what she's playing, by the way. You might want to look into videos. Just look how uneducated this person is. Unbelievable amount of ignorance coming out of this video.
I can't in good conscience call that pandering, because that is a already like structured storyline or structured story that has happened for many years in different novels, different movies, different shows. Now, if this was an Assassin's Creed Shadows in feudal Japan, and the main character was a black man, Yasuke, right, with no other Asian input or Asian perspective, I would be like, that's weird. That's a little strange.
Still trying to justify it when she's also DEI too. Japan don't like either.
Why is there why didn't you why are you finally putting this in Japan, right? And the only main character is a black man. That's a little strange, right? It's like, this story could have been told somewhere else, right? I kind of wanted to see a story, with an Asian perspective, but that's not the case. You see what I'm saying? Even then, that even if that had happened, I could be like, okay, well, yeah. I can understand where people are going where it says pandering, but that's not the case. That's not what happened, right? You have Naoe, who is the native Japanese person.
No, she's not.
So I can't come to many logical conclusions as to why people are just like erasing that fact, outside of just like they don't want to play as a woman, which apparently that's the truth.
No. You know how many Japanese play as female characters and have been for a long time? And even people over here play female characters?
Because Ghost of Yote just came out or announced, and boy, we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
It's not because she's female, it's because of the gender fluid, insane tranny activist mindset.
But yeah, it just sounds like people didn't want to play as a woman or a black guy. And that's just like, what else can I really extrapolate from you?
That's what his mind sees, by the way. That's his IQ level.
You saying something like that. I would even say if it was mainly about Yasuke, and Naoe, the native Japanese, was like a secondary, like you know what I mean? Like a, not even co-protagonist, but like side protagonist, right? As in like they focused more on Yasuke and then it was Naoe. But it doesn't even look like that's the case. It looks like they're both gonna have equal what's it called, relevancy, right? If anything, Naoe looks like she's going to be more important, because that's where the story started off with. She's the one that was like, oppressed. Her village got destroyed and all this, and it looks like Yasuke, right, is a slave at this point, slave/samurai, by the main villain Nobunaga. I forgot his name. He's in Samurai Warriors, bro. I don't know if anyone plays the Dynasty Warriors spinoff Samurai Warriors. I play the character every time, but he was also a real person, obviously, and he was a villain, a big baddie in Japan. And for whatever reason, he's calling the shots and making Yasuke do some bad stuff. So it seems like it's actually mostly Yahweh, who is the native Japanese person, and then of course later on you'll have Yasuke as like the co person. So I'm like, bro, I'm even trying to trying to make like logical sense out of this, but there's none. It just boils down to you don't want to play as a woman or a black person, and like if that's how it is, that's how it is. But like say that
You're an idiot.
don't just make it look like I don't know, like it's pandering. That's
Call,
not pandering.
call him what he is.
The
It's
actor of
pretty
Yosu
obvious.
Yotai is like a super hardcore leftist, and people are upset at that. Well, I'm sorry, there's certain people are upset at that, right? Now I haven't read everything that she said, but it seems like it has absolutely no correlation with the actual video game. It's just her own personal beliefs that she's putting out. And my thing is, as long as you're not saying like you're harming anyone or doing anything illegal, say whatever you want. It's whatever. People have the right to criticize you, but at the same time, like you trying to make it seem like this woman's political opinions somehow reflect how the game is going to be is absolutely silly. There's no logical reasoning behind that.
We need to find out more about it.
She has no creative input in the game's development or the combat system or the story writing or anything, right? She is just the actor, and people wanted someone who looked like her or who acted like her. That's it. But anyway, she's been on a mass blocking spree, and a lot of times with like I guess big actors or voice actors or people, they have like assistants and things like that that actually run the social media. Now I don't know if that's the case with this, but everyone apparently talked about getting blocked like on the same day, which leads me to believe that like there's third party stuff that allows you to like massive block people who say like certain word. Like she might have blocked people who say I don't know the word woke. You know what I mean? I don't know or anything like that. Because obviously this guy got hit with a straight with somebody, or you can get upset about it. Funny. I don't think it's gonna have any bearing on the game. I think.
So there we have it, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Like and subscribe. I'm gonna keep up at it. The level of ignorance that this guy's in, but he tries to act like he's nice about it. But if you have vision, you can see past it. Perfect tool for Ubisoft. Um, but yeah, let me know what y'all think. Glad to do this. Glad to roast them. All right, y'all. Peace out.